ブスブスとそこらにある見てくれだけの不完全燃焼とはわけが違う。ほんの瞬間にせよ眩しいほどに真っ赤に燃え上がるんだ。そして後には真っ白な灰だけが残る。燃えかすなんか残りゃしない。真っ白な灰だけだ。
Ashita no Joe is a sports manga like no other. It's extremely character driven, given real, threatening stakes, and has an ending so shocking that you'll be left in tears from witnessing the great journey of the man named Joe Yabuki. I've just finished reading this masterpiece and I now have a new top 2, as well as a new favorite character. Today I'll be giving my thoughts on why you should check out this manga, as well as getting yourself ready for, in my opinion, the greatest sports manga. Also, I'll be talking about whether you see the anime or not for this later in the video, so I hope you enjoy. So right before we get into this video, subscribe if you haven't, hit the like button, turn on bell notifications, and follow my Twitter down below. Don't forget to join the Discord server in the description below as well. Now without further ado, let's get into the video.
Fighting God,
So the general story of this manga is what I'm going to be talking about first. At 171 chapters and 20 volumes, Ashita no Joe is not something I would really call a true sports manga, but a manga that delves into the harsh reality of the sport called boxing, as well as showing us a journey of a man who first-handedly walked through the consequences of this sport. While displaying these trivial consequences, it shows the duality of the sport as well, giving us another side on how it's able to make a person feel true to themselves inside of the ring. Like I said at the start of the video, this story is completely character driven and it uses this trait to go into Joe's motives, mindset, and future all the way through. It has a few other characters other than Joe, and some of them are greatly handled well for the role they're put into, like Rikishi Toru, Joe's longtime rival of the story, and a respectable challenge that keeps the readers thrilled for their clashes. Their relationship is really well done and it shows a unique rivalry that forms through none other than the sport of boxing. Now the story has a pretty good start as well. When you first start the manga, it throws you into the isolated streets of where Joe meets and runs into his future longtime coach, Tange Dampe. When we first view this meeting, we get to see Joe's unrivaled strength and potential that he has, giving us all of the thought that this 15-year-old right here is destined for greatness. Which he is, but is subjected to the harsh world of boxing. In usual sports manga, it doesn't really dive into the severe consequences of its specific sport until probably like near the end of its story, but for Ashita no Joe, it gives us a unique and realistic view of the sport Joe is diving into very early in the story. It has some really hype, exciting, and hopeful moments, but sometimes the story does get really dark for a sports manga. I found myself shocked that I actually saw some stuff happening in the manga, and it blew me away on how well that stuff was executed. Of course, I'm not gonna spoil it, but get ready to be amazed. At some points in the story, it has a really somber feeling to it, yet it still tries to find the hopefulness in that emotion, which makes the readers feel really connected. I love how it's able to take risks, and it doesn't fail to shock me each time that feeling jumps right back at me. Now the protagonist of the story, Joe Yabuki, is someone who some would say is a legend. I believe so as well. He even is seen as one in Japan, as there are some statues of him there as well. As a character, I think Joe is perfectly well done for the whole entire story. For the majority of the story, he gets some great development for his motives and his feelings on the world that he lives in. The way he is portrayed as a troublesome teenager at first, but then evolves into a respectable man, is done greatly well in my eyes. I really loved to see his evolution take place as each story-changing event kept coming down. It was thrilling and uplifting, something that will make you really appreciate his character for a very long time. Even though he's an extremely flawed human being, he's able to inspire you to forge your own will and stay true to it to the end. The way Joe does it could be seen as sad as he dives into the severe sport of boxing, but in his eyes, he feels a flame that erupts every time he's thrown into a fight. A flame so bright that fires up his body in an instant, and when that flame dies down after each fight, there's only pure white ash. an ash that symbolizes Joe's satisfaction in completing his goal each time. He sees fighting as his only purpose as he couldn't find that flame at the beginning. He's an orphan and has no home, but when taken to do boxing, he finds a place that he would call home, something that is his joy. I love the self-discovery Joe goes through in the story, and each time he finds an opponent, he doesn't see them as an annoying enemy that just needs to be taken down, but as a friend that would feel the exact same flame as well, and they both help each other find that fire that drives them to do what they do in the boxing world, which is what makes each rivalry he gains in the story so amazing and interesting. Fighting hits way differently for Joe, and it makes you feel good to see someone who had nothing gain what he couldn't in something that he loves to do. This aspect really makes me admire his character, and it made me understand why he's getting himself into this sport. The art for this manga really doesn't seem outdated at all, even if it was made over 50 years ago. It has a cartoony charm to it at first, but when the boxing comes in, it gets really good and gritty, as it's able to show us the emotions of the boxers extremely well, and also gives us stunning panels for a manga that came out that long ago. Even though it's not berserk or vagabond level art, it works really well for this manga. The fights look great, and the really important emotional moments are done amazingly well, and I really loved viewing it. Now, should you start with the anime or manga? Well, I myself have only read the manga while watching a few season 2 episodes, but I can tell you that the anime looks great visually. It also has an amazing soundtrack that I used when reading the manga. If you do want to start watching it, then make sure when you get up to episode 54 on season 1, switch to season 2 as it gives you a recap of the episodes after episode 54 with better animation. I've heard this from a majority of people, but you can research that if you want. They're both done really well, so this isn't a manga better than the anime situation, thankfully. Go for your own preference as both choices lead to great outcomes. So that's where I'm gonna end it off for today. Hopefully you did enjoy. This was just a pretty short video of me recommending you this anime and manga, as I had just finished it earlier, and I can say it was greatness. It's a story some people definitely should see. But like always, subscribe if you haven't, hit the like button, turn on bell notifications, and follow my Twitter down below. Don't forget to join the Discord server in the description below. It's been Endless Requiem, peace.